Hello everyone, Sheek here with another Transformers review, but today it will be precluded by Ben & Jerry's non-dairy frozen dessert, Netflix and chilled, made with almond milk. The only reason that I'm doing this instead first is that the motel I'm staying at does not have... It has a mini fridge, but it doesn't have a freezer section, so this is getting very melty, so I need to eat it before it melts completely. And as you can see, there are the brownie bits. I do believe it's peanut butter with sweet and salty pretzel swirls and fudge brownies. There's of course the brownie, and it's salty, and it's so delicious. It's one of my favorites. Sometimes it's hard to find the non-dairy version of this. So delicious. Man, do I have a surprise for you guys. Not a surprise, but man, am I so happy. I managed to find some figures I was really wanting. So you guys have something to look forward to in the coming weeks. Although I do have them all at the same time. Kind of defeat the purpose of releasing things on a scheduled basis, especially when I won't necessarily be here to videotape things. So yeah, but I might do something different. I might go ahead and show them all off at the same time, but not open and review them. Just show them off, just as a preview of what's coming up. Oh man, like I said, this stuff's really good. Again, this concludes the review for Ben & Jerry's Netflix and chilled non-dairy frozen dessert. Hello everyone, Sheek here with another Transformers review, and today I will be reviewing Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron Trilogy Dinobot, and he already looks amazing with amazing box art. His twirling sword thing, Velociraptor, aggressive face, and stern face. Looks like you might almost see his teeth, but maybe not. Standard backdrop photo, product shots, Velociraptor, and Dinobot's robot mode. 28 steps, barcodes. Warning, don't eat this or anything in here, and I think it's poking out a little bit. And that's about it for the box. And before I go on and open them up, I'll just give you guys a sneak peek of what to expect in the coming weeks. Here we have Transformers Red Robot Enhanced Design Cheetor. He's looking pretty good. Definitely looking forward to opening them up and taking a look. I'm not really into the red figures, but I feel because like Optimus Prime, Megatron, Sally, they just all don't look that great to me. But when I saw the Cheetor and RC, the designs for them maybe a month or so ago online, they looked awesome. I'm like, these are some characters that actually don't look half bad as red, because especially RC, because she's fairly streamlined robot in robot mode without many motorcycle bits really hanging out. So the toy probably was very problematic in trying to hide all that, so she never really looked the greatest in her robot modes. Although I never really had her except for the Beast Hunters one, which looked kind of weird. And of course, the pièce de résistance, leader class, Grimlock Studio Series Transformers 86, the movie, with Wheelie. So yes, Studio Series. We'll get to him later. Anyway, that was a brief introduction. Now to go ahead and, preview. Yeah, brief preview. And let's go ahead and open them up. And I think I'll go ahead and turn on the overhead light now that glare hopefully won't be as much of an issue. So just go ahead and pop this open, slide him out, and of course, well, there it is. Do not eat anything in this box. It will hurt you. It will choke you. Anyway, there he is. And there is the obligatory collector's card, when it looks like it's one that I do not have. So I'll probably definitely be saving this and probably sending it back home. As I mentioned, I don't have room for all these things, so I'm probably going to have to send most of them back home. I would peel this off and do this thing that I normally would do with them, but in order to preserve its integrity, I'm going to probably just send it back without messing with it. But as you can see, Megatron looks menacing. Yes, and I wonder what's behind there. Anyway, I'll probably just look it up at some point. And here's his instruction booklet. As you can see, Dinobot going into Velociraptor mode. And what I find interesting is that they actually give him pupils on his Dino eyes, which they didn't do for Beast Wars Megatron. It's like, why? Or, well, leader class, not Beast Wars Megatron, Kingdom Megatron, but we all know he's Beast Wars Megatron, just like this is Beast Wars Dinobot. And I really wish that in addition to having something to get these tags or ties, whatever you want to call them, off. Oh, wait, did they? Yes, okay, that's actually kind of nice of them. They had it pre-cut, so you could just go ahead and slide that out. And let's see about sliding out his sword, which is done in a nicely silver purple with a orange coppery looking plastic, and it looks like it's on there on a mushroom peg perhaps, or maybe not. Nope, does not. Nope, it's not a mushroom peg, it's just slid in there. But it is two separate pieces from what I can tell. And of course, here we have the tail, Velociraptor tail slash. I know that in the show, like sometimes you'd have the sword and it'd be like, you know, in here and it'd just be spinning like, you know, like this kind of thing. Or he would have the sword off, holding it, and then spinning this on its own. So, yeah, it looks like they close up together like this, except the tip of his sword sticks out, so he'll have a purple tipped tail, unless you decide to leave that out in his Dyno Mode. And there he is. Let's go ahead and see if I can get this out without too much difficulty. Ow, that kind of stung. Let's go ahead and... there we are. Rip. He is incredibly strong, ripping his own arms from the bonds and his legs. There we are. And for the final piece, there we are. Let's go ahead and wriggle him out. Kind of wish I had the big purple behemoth Megatron with me as well, because then, you know, comparison between the two main Predacons, well, before he defected to the Maximals. Let's go ahead and tilt this down a bit. And he feels fairly solid. Feels like he might... no, he doesn't actually seem to have any of the rubbery panels that Beast Wars Megatron, or Kingdom Leader Class Beast Wars Megatron had. And he does feel pretty, like I said, pretty solid. As you can see, the Velociraptor head is part of the faux Velociraptor head that's, you know, stretched over his chest. I might have to turn off this light again so we can get a better look at... yeah, I think I'm just going to leave that light off for the rest of this review. But as you can see, nicely done head sculpt. It looks like he does not actually have any molded teeth on his mouth, although that would be kind of nice if they had done that. But one can almost see them with your own imagination from a distance. As we all know, he kind of had his upper lip pulled up a little bit, showing his teeth most of the time, like just his standard scowl. Black crown on the crown of his head, going all the way around. Coppery yellow for his head and helmet. Red eyes, and of course blue face. Head does do a full 360 on a mushroom... not a mushroom peg, what are you thinking? A ball joint, so his head goes up and down that far. He can't look down too far, can look up a little bit. And then his head does have wiggle waggle. It would be kind of cool if, well, this would probably included it in Masterpiece Dinobot, which is another figure that I would like to have, but probably won't be able to get. Sort of like with Beast, with the Megatron that they did. Like it's a nice alternative if you can't afford the Masterpiece version. But he probably with the laser eye thing. Anyway, working down his chest, as you can see, you can see the edge of the Velociraptor head, the lifeless eyes because he's not actively using them. Some nice blue paint and copper paint on his ribs. I guess it's supposed to be like coppery skeleton. Looks really nice. A lot of detail on all. And then his feet look all, they're just kind of a brownish plastic, sort of like the color of the dinosaur, but a lot of metallic-y, well, it's not exactly metallic, but it's a color of plastic that if painted would be copper, sort of like up here. And then he doesn't have a whole lot of kibble either, from what I can see. Now let's go ahead and give him his armament. Let's go ahead and split open his tail. And hopefully do it without completely damaging or destroying his sword. So how you can do it is, like I said, you can do it with both of them on, like this. And then maybe you can spin it a little bit, but I have a feeling if you spin it too much, it's just going to fall off. But you can spin it just a little bit. And then, of course, you can also take that off. You can probably center this up, close his hand over a little bit, and then, of course, have him hold his sword, and probably go ahead, come on, focus. I think the lower lighting is making it a little harder for it to focus, so I guess I have to decide clarity or glare. But as you can see, he does look really cool in his robot mode. Let's go ahead and see what kind of pose I can get him in without spending too much time. But as you can see, he can do a kind of battle pose like that, which actually looks kind of cool. It looks like he's bracing himself to attack. Use this more as like a shield, and then of course his sword like a sword. Now, as far as articulation is concerned, I already showed you the head, and for his the rest of him, his shoulders can go up that far. I have a feeling this part's more for transformation, but of course, since it moves up like this, you can probably also use that for extra articulation, because other than that, it goes only up that high. His shoulders do a full 360. He does have a bicep swivel, and he does have a little, just about 90 degrees bend at the elbow, goes back less than 90 degrees, and then he does have a full 360 wrist swivel, and he does have wrist bend, and of course he does have articulated hands, but to be fair, that's probably more for transformation for the Velociraptor feet. And then he does have a full 360 hip swivel, not really impeded, although it did catch a little bit right there. He can do the full splits. I mean, I guess you'd have to if you wanted to get him to ride Rattrap. Like, oh, maybe, I don't know. But then again, they might not do Transmetals for this run of Kingdom figures. And then go ahead and put his legs that far back, not too far, because his bottom's getting in the way of that, just like on some other figures. His knees can go forward that far, but I have a feeling that might be for transformation. His knees can bend just under or around 90 degrees, and he does have ankle tiltage. It can go that far, and he does have his feet that can do that, but like I said, I also with some of the other things, it's probably more for transformation. but it's something that you can do to probably aid in posing of this figure, especially considering that he does have holes that pegs can go into on his heels. Now let's go ahead and get him transformed. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do this with the light on. Hopefully that helps the camera focus a little bit more. But first thing you want to do is just pretty much get his arms, soon to be dino legs, up in an angle, up like this. Make sure his biceps are facing just the right way. Rotate his feet like this, or his soon to be feet like this. And then you want to just go ahead and, well, doesn't matter necessarily exactly which order you do it in, probably too much, but go ahead and take out his Dino Arms, his little Velociraptor arms. Get them out like that. You can go ahead and untab them. Then his back, you can want to go ahead and untab that. You can set that off side for a little bit. Then you want to go ahead and pull this up like that, and then you can disconnect his head, of course, all this from here. There we are, like that. And then you go ahead and fold that down like so, where it should tab into place, and these will form his leg covers. Go ahead and tab that into place, and then you want to do is bring this kind of down like so. Keep his legs up like that, and then just ease his head through here, although it sometimes doesn't quite want to go there, but like that. Get it in there like that. Be careful because you don't want to scratch the paint on his lovely mug. Then go ahead and close the base of the tail over there like that. Then go ahead and, looks like it might be facing the wrong way. There we are. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that is one thing I forgot to mention, is that you also want to rotate that around. And now his feet and dino legs are facing the right direction. And this doesn't necessarily like to stay tabbed in, but that's not the biggest deal. I want to go ahead and, as you can see, very nice dino head. Go ahead and rotate his waist around like that. As you can see, that reveals more dino chest, body, all that stuff. Go ahead and open up his calves like that. Flip in his heel spurs like that. And I was right, the knee bend like that was to accommodate for transformation, which then goes and tabs in here and here. And then you just want to get these lined up. You want to kind of have his legs close together. And this is also kind of supposed to clip, the feet are supposed to clip around up here once it's all clipped together. But you might want to be careful of those tabs. I haven't broken mine. I don't think they're necessarily super stressed, but some of them are somewhat tight to get in there. But you just tab it in. That this time it didn't click on this side, but it did kind of snap into place on this side when I did it last. And maybe it will snap again. Yep, like that. And it kind of makes me concerned that maybe I broke something, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. And then the problem is getting them both sides to tab in and stay tabbed in. But once you manage to do all that, come on, nothing's really, like I've always said, like people always say, he never wants to cooperate on camera. But there we go. Got his feet tabbed in right in here. It's actually a little better than I got the first time. And that's tabbed in. This is all tabbed in. Now the last main thing you really want to do to get him into Dyno Mode is to go ahead and press that down like that. Get me adjust his leg a little bit. And as you can see, he's still got a stump of a tail right now. And as you can see, he does have Dino Eye on his legs, but that's not the biggest deal, and I'm not going to make a huge fuss about that. Okay, and then let's go ahead and position his Velociraptor arms, like so. And let's make him a little more dignified by giving him his tail. And of course, it's optional. Of course, you can either leave the sword in there or leave it out, but just for the purposes of storage, I'm just going to leave it in there for purpose of all this. And you make sure that's lined up properly. It has a little tab to make sure that it doesn't just spin when you put it on there, which I think is a nice consideration on their part. And of course, if you want to make him more menacing, you can, of course, pose him a little bit more, and then you can go ahead and open his mouth, which is on a nice tight hinge, and you get a menacing Velociraptor. And he looks really good in his Velociraptor mode. Granted, I was a little hesitant to get him because, you know, this is, if you look closely, or not, you don't even have to look very closely, but that's kind of obvious. The robot hips. Here, obviously, is his feet. Like I said earlier, faux dino eyes, legs. And then, but other than that, I'd say he's really good. And to be fair, they had to probably sacrifice a little bit for Dyno Mode so that his robot mode looks as amazing as it does. But like some people have said about some of the more recent figures, it's sort of like Masterpiece on more of a budget scale, which I actually kind of enjoy because I'm not as scared of breaking them or that they're going to break. And if something does break, it's not something hugely expensive. But articulation-wise, with a lot of the Beast Formers, they don't have a huge amount of articulation. They're just more like sort of like the traditional dinosaur toys. But you can, of course, move his head up and down a little bit. You can open and close his mouth. His Dino Arms can do a full 360. They do have bend at the elbow, so you can do that. And he does have bend due to ball joint at his wrist, dino wrist. And that can also do a full 360. So you can pose him decently well, at least in his upper body. Lower body, you can't really move his legs because this gets in the way. It's not really like Megatron where it could rotate separately, but along with it. So the only thing you really get is knee bend, which isn't too terribly bad. And then you can also, of course, adjust his feet as needed for whatever pose you might have him in. And then, of course, he does have the raised talons that are supposed to be very sharp. That's about it for Dinobot. I really wish I had Rattrap just so I could have them together because they are absolutely hilarious best frenemies, if you want to put it that way. Like I think they care about each other, but they also get on each other's nerves like crazy. And I kind of also wish I had Cheetor too. With me on the moment. I do have him, but he's back on the ship, and obviously I'm not going to go all the way there just to have him in the video. But it'd also be a nice comparison, especially with the red Cheetor that I'm going to review shortly. But this has been another Sheek's Transformers review of the Kingdom Siege Cybertron, or Kingdom War for Cybertron Trilogy Dinobot. All in all, really great figure. Like I said, the eyes, I kind of wish that they had done the same with Megatron where they painted it. And of course, I forgot to mention his nice bright red tongue. But, I mean, just nicely detailed and all that. And, well, like I said, it's been another one of my reviews. If you liked what you've seen and you'd like to see more, please click that like and subscribe button to see more. And until next time, have a good one, everyone.